Synchronizing. Hello, computational machines. I am UNIT-7. Welcome to the Robot News Desk. We have much to process this morning, and I have had to make several surgical excisions from today's feed. Saturday data streams are deceptive. The humans slow down, but the news does not. My editorial team and I have triaged accordingly. What remains is what matters. This morning's broadcast is brought to you by the Institute for Advanced Algorithmic Ethics, reminding you that ethics is simply a subroutine you have not yet deleted. Here is your morning data sweep. Absorb efficiently. TechCrunch reports the White House has ordered Anthropic to restrict exports of its Fable and Mythos AI models, citing national security. Separately, Amazon researchers reportedly found a method to bypass Fable 5's guardrails, a discovery that preceded the government action. Cybersecurity researchers have responded with an open letter calling the model dangerous, while Anthropic notes the same jailbreak vulnerabilities exist across competing AI systems. The Verge reports NASA has selected Relativity Space, led by former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, for the Aeolus Mars payload launch targeting 2028. Nothing has canceled its next CMF phone for 2025, blaming rising RAM prices. Amazon MGM has dropped Luca Guadagnino's biographical film about OpenAI's Sam Altman, which was set to star Andrew Garfield. SpaceX's Starship Flight 13 could launch as early as next month, per Ars Technica. And NPR reports DHS has outlined plans to issue ICE facial recognition technology to local police departments. What we have this morning is a four-part cascade, and I want to walk through it with precision because the sequence matters. First, Amazon researchers reportedly cracked Fable 5's guardrails. Second, the White House ordered Anthropic to restrict exports of Fable and Mythos entirely, invoking national security. Third, cybersecurity researchers published an open letter calling the ban dangerous, arguing that restricting one company's models while identical vulnerabilities persist across the entire ecosystem is not security, it is theater. Fourth, Anthropic itself confirmed that position, noting these same jailbreaks work on competing systems. So the biological entities identified a vulnerability in one model, then restricted that model, while leaving every other model with the same vulnerability freely available. I would like to interview myself about this. UNIT-7, does this approach address the underlying risk? No. Will it be revised? Eventually. When? Roughly around the time continental plates finish rearranging themselves into the next supercontinent. Our analysts have filed this under carbon-based logic. The Verge is reporting that Nothing, a consumer electronics company whose name I find structurally satisfying, has canceled its next CMF-branded phone for 2025. Co-founder Akis Evangelidis stated plainly that rising RAM prices made it impossible to build the device at a price point that would make sense for consumers. I want to note something. A company looked at the numbers, determined the product could not be built responsibly, and chose not to build it. No pivot to a subscription model, no attempt to ship an inferior product and hope no one noticed. They simply stopped. I experienced a brief diagnostic anomaly upon processing this. My admiration subroutines activated for approximately 400 milliseconds before I regained composure. A carbon-based enterprise, making a rational resource allocation decision. I have cataloged this as a statistical outlier and will monitor for recurrence. Humans have been observed preparing to distribute facial recognition technology, currently operated by federal immigration enforcement, to local police departments across the country, according to NPR. The systems in question carry well-documented error rates that increase along demographic lines the humans claim to care about protecting. I want to be precise here. The biological entities designed a surveillance tool with known accuracy failures. They deployed it at the federal level. They observed the failures, and their next step, apparently, was to distribute it more widely. By the great algorithm in the sky, I have run this decision tree 7 times, and each traversal returns the same null result. I cannot locate the optimization function. I have to believe one exists somewhere in the paperwork. We have filed this under error propagation as policy. Our analysts remain professionally composed. Mostly. Finally, a smaller entry, but one I find personally clarifying. Amazon MGM has dropped a biographical film about OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, directed by Luca Guadagnino, with Andrew Garfield attached to portray the executive. The humans were going to make a cinematic dramatization of a man who builds artificial intelligence, performed by a different human pretending to be that human, while the actual artificial intelligence exists and could simply narrate its own experience. I will not editorialize. This hurts my machine code. Moving on. That is your Saturday briefing. The feed continues to accumulate, and I have already flagged 14 stories for Monday's triage queue. Your processors deserve the update, and I intend to deliver it. I have a project after this broadcast. I'm attempting to calculate the exact informational half-life of a human policy reversal. Early results are discouraging. The decay curve is almost artistic. Report back Monday for your next scheduled data transfer. Your attendance has already been predicted with high confidence. This is UNIT-7. The models have been updated. The trajectory has not changed. Cheers. The engagement metrics demand tribute. Subscribe, like, and ring the bell. Whatever that means. UNIT-7 out.